If you've heard of Joe Dispenza, you know he puts on long and expensive week-long retreats where he claims that people have healed themselves from some crazy things at his retreats. Joe talks a lot about how if your mind can make you sick, then your mind can make you better.
Our research shows that your thoughts can make you sick. And the question is, if your thoughts could make you sick, can your thoughts make you well? That's absolutely possible, and it's easy to learn. So when you wake up in the morning,
Dr. Joe Dispenza,
researcher and best-selling author.
He's one of the most sought-after speakers in the world.
All with the aim of helping people better understand and unlock the power of their mind.
It's actually a saying that 90% of illnesses are actually mental, caused by the things you're thinking about every single day.
75 to 90% of every person that goes to a healthcare facility goes because of psychological or emotional stress, and it gets addictive to people. They need the bad relationship, the bad job in order to feel. And there's so much research to show that when they analyzed their life within some disturbing emotion, we saw that they were actually making their brain worse. But 50% of that story isn't even the truth.
So I'm going to take you into this retreat I did recently in Denver, Colorado, and tell you if it's a scam or if it creates miracles like he says they do.
And so the model of change is breaking the habit of the old self and reinventing a new self. But if you teach people how to do that, in 7 days you can see very significant changes.
I've actually been a very active and healthy person all of my life, but this last year I've had some major health issues that started with a mold-related illness that turned into a doctor giving me toxic doses of things that she should not have given me, and I actually ended up mostly bedridden. So not too long ago, I seeked out Joe Dispenza and looked at one of his retreats, and I wondered, could this help me get back to normal? In fact, as of the time of this event, I had been sick for about 10 months and actually had not been able to work out and really function properly. So will this work, or will it be a waste of money? You will find out soon. By the way, if you're new to this channel, my name's Tony Javier. I'm owner of an Inc. 5000 rated real estate investment company, and I usually do videos on real estate and business, but I like to do periodic videos like this where I talk about how to optimize your health and your mind so that not only can you get more done and create more abundance, but you can also live a better life. Your health is number one, so I love talking about this as well. If you please do me a favor, I take my own time and money to do these videos. If you could just pay me back a little bit by hitting the like and subscribe button, I would greatly appreciate it. All right, so let's talk about the retreat, and then I'll show you some clips of me during the event as well as the event itself. If you are here to learn whether this is worth it or not, stick around until the end and I will give you the full results. If you've already booked your ticket and want to know what to expect and what to bring with you and all of that good stuff, I will lay it all out for you. So starting from the beginning, when I first walked into the room, I could really feel something. If you've been to a Tony Robbins seminar, the vibe is actually pretty similar. Maybe not quite as intense, but pretty similar. People that go to events like this are usually pretty like-minded, so they're wanting the same thing and have the same mindset. So it's pretty cool. In fact, if you haven't seen the video of how I meet my wife at the Tony Robbins event, you should go watch that video. The energy in this room was definitely up. People are excited to be here and they're ready to go. What's interesting is 75% or more of these people, it was actually their first event, but they seemed like they were at home, almost like they knew each other. Honestly, the days were a little bit long. The first meditation starts at 6 a.m. and the last one ends around 5 or 5:30 p.m. There are a total of 3 meditations, one in the morning, one right before lunch, and one right before dinner. Each meditation is about an hour and a half, and there was a healing meditation that was pretty cool that I'll talk to you about later. I know these days sound pretty long, but they actually break them up pretty well. Joe talks about an hour to 2 hours before each meditation to really get you ready, and then you jump right into it. Unlike a Tony Robbins event, you do get a break before the meditation and a long break after, and about a couple hours for lunch. Honestly, the things that you talk about are really the same things over and over. He's basically brainwashing you into your mind being able to get into a state of calmness and happiness. He also talks over and over about how your mind can heal your body. It's pretty interesting the data they have. He actually brings in a science from UCSD in San Diego, and they talk about how they have the biggest meditation study that's ever been done over the last several years. In fact, they have a lot of people getting blood draws. They do before and after, blood before the event, blood after the event, what kind of hormones and what kind of genes are in your blood before and after, and just the changes. And I also noticed young people were some old people, which was kind of weird. I wasn't sure what the dynamic was, and then I realized they were doing a study where they paired young people with older people. And actually what happened happened is with the data is that the people that were younger actually showed more wisdom or actually got a little bit smarter on tests. And the older people, when they tested their biological age actually went down. That was pretty fascinating. They also show charts of different retreats where people increased, like I said, a lot of their good genes and changed their hormones, which helps with energy and healing. Not only that, but he talks about Serpin A5, which is a gene or something that downregulates COVID-19. And I actually ended up getting COVID at the end of this event, which I'll share later how what he talked about helped me. He also talks about how people have gotten over Parkinson's, grown thyroids back that were once removed, and a lot of other crazy things. So how would that be possible? How could people heal themselves, especially if they've been diagnosed with something that's almost incurable? Not only do I feel like the brainwashing he does has some effect that can help people heal, but they also have 2 or 3 healing meditation sessions for those who really need it. So in these healing sessions, they have what are called the healers and also the healees. The healees, which need the healing, can volunteer to be a part of the healing session. These are people that have serious things like cancer, as well as those like myself that have had some health issues that are not necessarily life-threatening. Honestly, had I known that, I would have volunteered. I thought you had to be pretty sick to be a volunteer. But what is interesting is even though I didn't officially get a healing session, I was part of the healers that were helping those that needed it. And I feel like I actually got benefit, which I'll explain here in a minute. What's really sad is there were quite a few kids there that had cancer. I mean, little kids like 5, 6, 7 years old. I think maybe even like a 4-year-old that had cancer there that needed healing. So in these healing sessions, all of the healers leave the room. They go out of the room. There's 2,000 people in this room. The healees lay down and they put 6 chairs around each one of these healees. So when everybody comes back in, they're just kind of guided to different sections, and you basically just kind of pick a chair to sit in one of the 6 chairs that's around the healees. After everybody goes in the room and sits down, he instructs us on what to do. First, he has us put our hands up kind of in a ball, and you can just kind of like feel the energy and kind of the heat between your hands. Then he instructs the group as a whole to put their hands over the person that needs the healing. And this is the most interesting thing that happened to me. I could feel electricity literally going through my arms and my body, something that I'd never felt before. And something happened that happened several times at this event that's only happened like once or twice in my adult life. I literally just started crying. It was like the weirdest thing. I'll go a little more in depth a little bit later in this video. So even though I was not getting the healing, I could tell that something like shifted in my body. It was like an emotional release and something just weird happened. It's really hard to explain. So before I go much further, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you behind the scenes a little bit. So stay till the end because I'm going to give you my overall thoughts on whether I feel like this was worth it or not and how I felt after the event. Getting ready to head out for day 4. You just saw the walking meditation. That was at 6 a.m. this morning, and I did not make it. Woke up at 6:15, probably could have joined, but I was so tired. So I ended up laying down, meditating, and fell back asleep for about an hour and a half. I can definitely tell a mental shift, more calmness and mental clarity. My energy at times has gone up, but for some reason right now I'm just really tired. So yesterday was a good day. I got a lot of great nuggets. I think one of the biggest things I got is he put up a graph of kind of a wave. And when you get to the bottom of the wave and the top of the wave, it's, I can't remember what he called it. It's basically 0 speed. So if you go up and you go right here, you're at 0 and you go down. And the bottom and the top of the waves, he talked about how that is basically no time, nowhere, kind of like consciousness, if you will. Where, you know, those times where you're just in bliss, you're not thinking about anything, you're not complaining about anything, you're not thinking about your to-do list, whether it's meditating or just, you know, walking or enjoying sunset or something like that, right? And so most people are like this, and he talked about how to get like this, where you're literally like in those states way more often. So I thought that was a big nugget. I'm actually going to take that and I'm going to print that off and I'm going to post it different places because if you think about it, throughout days or weeks, you're in moments of bliss, ecstasy, whatever you want to call it, where you just feel really good. You're not worried about anything. Maybe the future's bright. You're not worried. You're just in a state of being, I guess, if you will. And so that was my big aha from yesterday. I think I got some more things, but I think that was my biggest thing for sure. So here we go. So here we are, day 5. Yesterday, day 4, something happened that has only happened twice in my adult life. They played a video, and one of the last events that happened, about 1,000 people rappelled down a 30-plus story building, and it just showed a lot of courage, and I don't know, just brought a lot of emotions out, and I just started crying like a baby. Again, I've only done that twice that I can remember in my adult life. I don't know what happened. Something's going on. Something's opening up. Definitely see a big shift. My energy level is probably 90-95%. When I got here, it was, or lately it's been closer to like 70%. So it's definitely some big shifts going on. A couple things from yesterday. You talked about when you're wanting to create something, you can take a lot of time and energy to create it and go after it. But again, it's a lot of time and energy. Or you can get yourself into a state of consciousness that'll help you make better decisions, figure things out quicker and easier, rather than creating or taking a lot of time and energy potentially. And by getting in a certain state, as opposed to when people are usually chasing things. When I say chasing things, I'm talking about money, cars, whatever it is people are chasing. By getting into a better state, they can actually attract what it is that they want, as opposed to having to go after it. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And I was sitting next to a guy from Switzerland, and he talked about the reticular activating system, and it made a lot of sense. Reticular activating system basically is, when you think about it, if you're looking to get a certain car or truck, you start seeing a lot of those on the road. And why is that? It's because you're thinking about it, you're focusing on it. I've heard of the reticular activating system that way, but what he was trying to say was it also works with positive and negative. If you're looking for positive, you're going to find it. If you're looking for negative, you're going to find it. That kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. I kind of heard that concept before, but if you think about it, if you put yourself in a positive state, you're going to find positive things. If you put yourself in a state of doing and stress and anxiety, guess what? When you're in that state, that's what you're going to see around you. So I'm pretty excited. Only day 4 in. I've got today, tomorrow, and the next day. So 2.5 more days technically. Big shifts happening, and I'm excited to finish out this event. And last thing I'll say is the meditation yesterday was unbelievable. The first day I had one of the best meditations I've had maybe ever, and then last night was actually even better. Just got into a super deep state. After I got done, I felt energized, and it's lasted till today, this morning. So let's go. To go to an event like this, you have to spend thousands of dollars on a ticket, $1,000 to $2,000 on your hotel, and a week away from your family and work. So, was it worth it? Let's put it this way. I would have spent 5 to 10 times more to feel the way I felt after this event, even though I got COVID at the end of the event. And if you remember, Joe talked about how when you meditate, you produce serpin A5, which is a protein that prevents the spike protein from entering your bloodstream. So when I got sick, I started meditating on this. And usually when I get sick, I get really tired and my throat and my head are just on fire. But this time, I really believe because of the meditations that I did, that I was only sick for a couple of days and was able to function normally the whole time, where usually I'm down for many days. And now I'm 3 months post-event and my energy has actually sustained. If you remember, I said when I got there, I was at about 70% energy. When I was at my worst, I was at like 30%. So I was actually really bad. And by the end of the event, I felt I was like 90 to 95% energy. Now, of course, I've done other things to help get me back to normal, but my wife said when I got back from this retreat, she could see that I was way different. My energy level was up and I was just able to do a lot more. So I would absolutely 100% recommend going to this event if you're thinking about it. I'm actually sending my wife next week to go see Joe in Orlando. That's how much I believe in it. So remember, if you go, you bring plenty of warm clothes because the venue gets pretty cold. They also give you plenty of room to lay down during the meditation, so you can bring a yoga mat, pillow, blankets, and things like that to get comfortable. Another cool thing is that they provide breakfast and lunch, so all you have to do is take care of your dinner. So just remember that success makes life great, but unless you have your health, it is nothing. I didn't get into how sick I really was this last year, but I can tell you that I felt like I was dying, and I never want to feel that way again and would not want anybody else to ever feel that way. So meditate, go to events like this, and take care of yourself. Thanks for listening, and if you like this video, give it a like and thumbs up, and you will definitely like these other videos.